Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, we're going to give you the top 12 epic champions in Raid. In a game that's got over 200 epics, and epics being a kind of massive part of the teams you're going to build, you need to know where should you invest your time if you're kind of coming through the game. Let's start off with the first one. This isn't going to be in like a particular order. These are just my top 12 as we go. So we're going to start off. One from the Bannerlords is Stag Knight. Stag Knight gives you an AoE decreased defense and attack on a 3-turn cooldown. Well worth the books. Also gives you a decreased speed on his A1. Makes him relevant in Hydra, Arena for sure. Any wave-based content where you're trying to take down dungeons. And his decreased speed, decreased attack, decreased defense makes him really solid for boss fights as well. You'll find yourself using Stag Knight right through Raid. So Stag Knight's number one. He does have a passive as well, which boost someone's accuracy when they don't land something. Particularly good in early game, honestly, where you perhaps haven't got the accuracy that you need to get the job done. So Stag Knight comes in first on the list. Next one up, it's going to be one of the OGs. Royal Guard. Kind of came in and out of the meta, but has always been around as a smack. Yeah, Royal Guard brings the hammer on his A2. An AoE, so he attacks all enemies, and he hits for enemy max HP. So the further you are through the game, the more damage this does. Simple as that. The further you get, the more HP the enemy are going to have, including bosses and waves of enemies. It's especially good up until level 20. After level 20, the bosses start to take reduced damage. But after level 20, the rest of his kit starts to become better and better. So you actually bring a decreased speed, decreased turn meter as well on his A3, and a drop defense on his A1. He's got an attacking dungeons aura, but really you're worrying about bringing the slams, bringing the control, and using him really to smack your way through content. He becomes especially good in endgame for Hydra, for Fire Knight, and in a lot of the Doom Tower bosses as well, like Dark Fae. And yeah, he's basically becomes top tier and easily a top 10 epic. Okay then, let's move along to the Sacred Order. We can't do something like this without the Deke. Yeah, I remember when I first did a video for Deke and I was like that. He's 3 champions in 1. My opinion's not changed. I think he's maybe up there as the most sought after epic to get for general content. If you're not talking clan boss, he's up there as basically one of the best that you can get. He's got a leech on his A1 with a decent chance to hit. He's got an AoE drop defense on his A2, books to 100% on a 3-turn. And then he's got turn meter control and turn meter fill on his A3. So when I say he's 3 champions in 1, with a speed aura as well, he becomes your speed lead, he becomes your turn meter control, he becomes your drop defense, and his leech gives you survivability. Like, this guy is packing a punch. All the while, he's quite easy to keep alive with good base stats. So Deke easily coming into this group of champions. No one in the Barbs hits the top 12 for me. Farakin comes close, but not quite. So let's move on. Ogrin Tribes, we've got Udyr. Udyr, risen in fame. When she first came out, I was like that. She is the best epic in the game. After playing with her for a bit, she's a little bit more difficult to use, which probably pulls her down a touch. But then Hydra came out, and we were like, we need block buffs. We need decreased defense. We need healing. We need revives. We need survivability. And by the way, we need Udyr. Like, Udyr comes onto the team sheet before a lot of legendary champions. Yeah, basically a legendary in an epic skin. So the drop defense and block buffs is just so strong for Hydra, for wave-based content, for faction wars, anywhere where you've got waves of enemies that are going to try and buff and then start controlling the fight. She's like, no, not on my watch. You've also got this kind of big heal on the A3, which can also be a revive if your whole team are dead. And she does have a cool mechanic on her passive that if the rest of your team die, she gets block damage on her, she increases her speed, and then she's got a chance to revive your whole team back. Really strong. And then the leech just comes in as kind of like a clutch extra heal. Basically enables you to come away from lifesteal gear and get some healing mechanics through the leech ability. So again, massive base stats, very easy to keep alive. Udyr in my top 12. Next one is going to be someone else from this faction. It's the first void of the list. Maneater. I mean, he's always going to be in this type of list because he enables so much. He enables some of the easiest unkillable teams in the game. You do need at least one potentially 2 or someone else to help him get the job done. But his A3, giving your whole team unkillable, giving your whole team block debuff so you don't have to worry about affinities of clan bosses, makes him super strong. Outside of clan boss, he's still really good. Yeah, blocking debuffs is good anywhere in the game. Unkillable, well, if you don't die, you don't lose. And things like AoE, decrease attack on an A1, and turn meter steal on an A2 make him a really, really strong champion. So Maneater in my top 12. Next one is going to be a lizard. Got this lizard on the free-to-play. I'd say like one of the most underrated top epics in the game. Yeah, we've got an AoE ability on the A3, which puts out heal reduction and poison. Heal reduction is sketchy, honestly. In some places it's great. There's not many places where it works. But where it does work, it actually becomes pretty damn clutch. So, you know, generally boss fights, you don't get heal reduction to work. Normally they got kind of passes where they either don't heal or they got passes where it just kind of like kicks it out. But there's places like Agref where it works and actually does a good job. Places like the Magma Dragon, if you want to run a burner like a ninja, you can run heal reduction and do it without the Magma Dragon taking a heal. But anywhere that the heal reduction goes on, the passive kicks in and you just straight up take less damage, 15% less, which is huge. This disability here is actually massive. So Venom Mage, this heal reduction, damage reduction kind of buff makes her really, really strong. Also brings you a decrease attack and decrease defense if there's poisons out there. The A3 puts poisons on as well. And then you've got this kind of decrease targets max HP on the A1. Really good for Scarab Boss. So Venom Mage becomes this kind of champion that can come in, help you on Hydra, help you on Clan Boss, help you with Dragon, help you with a bunch of the Doom Tower bosses as well, especially Scarab Boss. And yeah, really versatile, amazing, amazing epic. Okay then, let's keep moving. We'll punch on to an Orc. So we can't do this type of list without a Seer. Seer is the best endgame wave clearer in the game. Yeah, so actually, if you get a Seer very early, although she'll do damage and she does a bit of control with the A3, she can sleep. Probably not the best time to get her. Yeah, you're not ready. Yeah, my free-to-play's got Seer. I'm not ready on the free-to-play to really make great use. I'm getting closer. I'm not quite ready. But this A3 is the best ability in the game to wipe a whole wave of enemies. And all you need to do is put loads of buffs on your team, drop the defense of the enemy, and let her roll through with an A3. She will clear the wave, no problem. Honestly, the rest of her kit is kind of average. Yeah, she's got an A1. It's okay. Gets an extra turn now and then. She's got an A3, which is okay. She doesn't hit with it, so she'll always place a weaken. As long as you've got enough accuracy to do it. And she'll put crit rate on your team. It's okay. But really, all you're hoping for is her to get back to her A3, which might mean that you actually turn the A2 off completely, run her in something like Reflex Gear so that she just cools it down quicker, or you run her with a reset champion like a Renegade or a Kaimar and just force her back to her A3 again and again. You do need to be aware, she likes to A2. If you're running her on auto without setting AI, she's like that. I guess you guys want crit rate. And the guys are like, no, we just wanted you to kill the whole wave. So she'll do that a lot unless you control her AI. But she is still the undisputed best wave clearer in the game, including all legendary champions. So yeah, Seer is an absolute beast. Let's talk about the next one then. Allure, top 12 epic for me because she does something no one else can do in the game. Okay, and it's all about her A1. She needs to have 100% crit rate. She needs to have accuracy. She needs to be able to be kept alive. And she needs to be pretty quick. So there's a lot of stats there. There's a lot of stats that are required. Obviously, you build those stats over time with gear and as you get further and further into the game. But the cool thing about her is she doesn't need any books. Yeah, you can actually run her. If you've got decent enough perception gear, you could run her at level 50. Yeah, you don't need masteries. All of those things start to add benefit over time. But she definitely is in that camp of one of the best out-the-box epics in the game. Because she just does it all. As long as you put the right stats on her, she does it all straight away with this A1. She opens up the door to Fire Knight for a lot of accounts. And she actually opens up the door to speedrunning level 24 or 25 better than any other champion in the game. So yeah, Allure is super good. Also good on Dark Fae and a couple of the kind of Doom Tower bosses. But really, she's a Fire Knight chick and she's the best at it. Her other abilities hit for an okay level of damage, but nothing crazy. She's got an AoE ability on her A2 with a weak source, decreased defense, and a sleep. Sometimes the sleep can come in clutch, but because you're going to build accuracy on her anyway. But a lot of the time, you turn it off because you just want to pumping down the enemy's turn meter. She does have a bit of a smack on her A3 as well. Hits for a decent amount, but again, you've got so many stats that you're building that it's hard to also build her with high damage. So, definitely recommend like Perception, high speed, good accuracy, 100% crit rate's a must. And then if you start to push damage after that, it's a Brucey bonus. But don't forget, she's squishy. If she gets hit, she's going down. So you need to give her some survivability as well. Or you need to build champions around her that just make sure she stays alive. Okay, moving on. Moving on to the first of the undead champions. And in my top 12, I'm pulling out the Vodof. Yeah, so, and you're probably thinking, how have you skipped this champion? How have you skipped this champion? We're talking top 12 of over 200 champions. Yeah, it's very difficult to get into this group. Vodof, for me, is the ultimate tank in the game. Yeah, there's some legendary champions that are great tanks. Koku, there's a bunch of them. Vodof, I think, is probably still the best tank. Basically, he's got a triple hit A1, pretty good for Giant Slayer, and can increase the duration of random debuff. We've got an AoE provoke, so nice tank ability there to soak damage away from your kind of team. This will help you with stuff like Hydra, Head of Decay potentially, can put it up to 75% chance. But generally, this is like a wave-based attack. So you're basically throwing out a provoke to stop your damage dealers taking the hits. And when Vodof takes hits, Vodof starts to heal the rest of your team. So whenever this champion's attacked, heals all allies by 50% of the damage that is received. That's like a massive, massive buff to your team. Honestly, it's so huge. 25% against boss attacks. So this is probably one of the single easiest ways to beat a Bommel boss. When Bommel's in the rotation, you get a Vodof in your team and you start to soak the damage of the bombs and heal at the same time. It becomes insanely strong. And then it also got this leech ability here. So whenever attacked, put a leech out. And if the attacker is someone under a provoke, which obviously is done from the A2, won't really happen against bosses very often. Then debuff placed by this champion, 70% chance, books to 100 of increasing the cooldown of a random skill. This is mainly an arena ability. So you provoke, when you take a hit, then you can start to lock out the enemy skills. And actually, Vodof is really good in an arena defense. So, well worth kind of throwing into that type of mix. Accuracy in all battles as well. Great base stats, apart from the shocking speed. But sometimes just good as a slab of meat, saying, hit me, because I'm going to heal the rest of my team. Okay, then. Probably one of the most acquired champions of recent times is Rector Draft. Rector Draft seems to be free on a whole bunch of link codes. We've got some on hellhades.com. Under the promo code section, you can go into link codes. If you're a new player, you can actually get yourself a Rector Draft. Yeah, you get yourself a Tayrel and a Rector Draft just from going through one of those link codes, which is pretty nuts because she's actually like top tier. She's probably one of the best, if not the best, epic healers in the game. Straight healing. Yeah, so she's got an A2, heals all allies by 20% of this champion's HP. Build her with high HP, like 70, 80k, and you're doing chunky heals, really good heals. After healing, you give a Perfect Veil as well. Perfect Veil means you just take less damage. Brilliant for Hydra if you're up against a Torment boss. Also puts out continuous heals as well. Like, so much going on with this A2 heal. Got Revive as well on her A3, which revives a single target with turn meter and a good amount of health, and a Veil. Then got this passive ability here. So whenever someone's under that Veil, basically gives them a 10% heal whenever they take a turn. Like, it's just crazy. If you've got a well-built Rector, you should just walk your way through faction wars for this faction. You should be able to walk through really any content and she'll just keep the team alive. It's madness. Also got a decreased attack A1. Can be good for Clan Boss, Hydra, just general kind of boss encounters, that type of thing. So really, rector's in the background doing all the support work and also allowing you to take a bit less damage. Resistance in Doom Tower as well. Yeah, really, really strong support unit. Okay, then we've got 2 more on the top 12. You're probably like, why didn't you do a top 10? I did, but then I had to put 2 more in. So next one on the top 12 is Geo. People love to hate Geomancer. I'll tell you now, he is better than 90% of the legendary champions in this game. Like, he just is crazy. And it's all about his A3 linked to his passive. You basically get his A3 thrown out a burn, thrown out a weaken. When that burns out there and his passive kicks in, all of your team take 15% less damage from hits. And when anyone in your team is hit by anybody, whoever's got the burn on will have a chance, 30% chance, 1 in 3, of getting a 3% max HP tick. It's like having an HP burn ticking again, yeah? Or something like a War Master hit, just proccing in. It ends up doing a ton of damage. Becomes one of the best ways to beat Bommel for damage. He becomes your damage. Becomes one of the best ways to tank Spiderlings. Basically, you put the burn on the main spider. Whoever's taking a hit from a Spiderling, the main spider's just popping burns, popping those ticks. And it's just the best way to kill endgame content. Clan Boss, insane. Hydra, insane. Put him in a reflex set, and he's throwing out burns all over the place. Everybody's taking maximum damage. So yeah, Geo is going to be one of the best endgame damage dealers that you can find, including legendary champions. So yeah, Geo's in there. It's also got a decreased accuracy A1. Pretty good for Bommel. Not bad for Hydra as well. That's an AoE. His A2 is not bad as well, actually. So he can go in and steal or remove enemy buffs. And also reduce the cooldown of his A3 if he kills someone. So this is, I guess it's not going to happen in someone like Hydra. It's more like wave-based stuff, which is a shame because you kind of want Hydra is where you want the A3 back. But anyway, all that said, he's just damn fine. So on to the last one then, and that is going to be the mytha. The mytha, a bit like Maneater, I spoke about it earlier, but probably even easier. The mytha enables unkillable teams for Clan Boss. Now, I will say she needs faster speeds than Maneater does, but on the positive, she can just be paired with a rare in RS, and that's a farmable rare, and you can just build yourself an unkillable team, and it produces some of the best damage unkillable teams in the game. So our A3 gives you block damage and heals. That's the main thing about a kit. Block damage goes out there on a 3-turn cooldown. It's a super low cooldown, which makes her so insane for this type of stuff. She's also got increases duration of buffs by a turn and decreases the duration of allied debuffs by a turn. So basically enhancing the good and getting rid of the bad. Yeah, and gives you a heal after that as well. It's actually quite a big heal. 3-turn cooldown. And then an A1, which kind of does a bit of shielding as well with defense in all battles and brilliant base stats for an epic. That's it. That's going to be my top 12. Who would have made the list for you and who would you have kicked out? Don't just tell me the good other ones, because I know there's other good epics in the game. Tell me who wasn't good enough that they would have replaced for you. There you go, guys. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you later.